Hi guys, this is Jay. Welcome to a new episode of Project Analysis. And today we'll be talking about a highly anticipated integrated project in Tampines, which is Parktown Residence. Today for this video, what I'll be doing is actually I will be predicting the prices for Parktown as well as selecting the choice units. And also lastly, I will be actually giving my views as to what price we should actually take a step back and see what's in the market comparing to Parktown, whether at this pricing is it still a good idea to enter. This development is actually jointly developed by two very reputable developers, which are UOL and Capital Land. Some basic info about the project is at Tampines Street 62. This project is actually quite interesting because it's a mixed development. It actually links to a bus interchange and also the upcoming Tampines North MRT station. It also has a mall which is called Parktown Mall, and this project will be TOP in 2030. It has a total of 1,193 units. For the car park lots, they actually have 961 car park lots, which is about 80%. Considering that it is actually direct link to the MRT station, I would say this is actually quite a good number of car park lots. For the mall, I would like to touch on a bit to give you guys an idea of roughly how big the mall is. Close comparison that I have actually used is actually Sengkang Grand Mall. Sengkang Grand is also another integrated project. The developer just so happened to be Capital Land as well. It's very similar, I would say, since it's developed by the same developer, and you can actually see the similarities over here. It includes a hawker center, community club, and also a community plaza, which the Parktown also has. Right, for Sengkang Grand is about 160,000 square feet. For Parktown is about 146,000 square feet. 13,600 square meter. I would say if you guys want to have a sense of how big the mall is, you can actually go over to Sengkang Grand and see how it's like, right? And for this mall, I would say that it's not like those mega mall like Vivo City whereby you can shop like crazy. But for day-to-day, your needs, your grocery shopping or whatever you need, food, all this is actually more than enough, sufficient. This is actually the upper basement plan. The reason why I'm showing this is because I want you guys to see that actually commercial part is over here. They do have their own lifts. For those blocks that are located at this area, you don't have to worry that you will have any disturbance from the people going to the commercial component of the project. Right now we are looking at the unit mix. What I noticed is that actually the units are quite big for the 2-bedroom premium onwards. If you look at the 2-bedroom premium and the 3-bedroom premium, you can see that the sizes are actually quite big compared to the other projects in the market right now. One thing I want to emphasize is that what happens when the units are bigger. When the units are bigger, what developers have to be more cautious about is actually how they price the PSF. Right, because if the units are big and then the PSF, they price it too high, then the quantums becomes too high. Looking at this unit mix, right, there's a good chance that the PSF could be attractive to keep the quantum acceptable. What I usually tell my clients would be to be more sensitive to quantum rather than PSF, because ultimately developers, they still profit through quantum, not through PSF. For majority of the video, I actually put more emphasis on the quantum, predicting the price and selecting the choice units. Another thing that I can actually see from this unit mix, right, is that about 50% of the total units are 2-bedders and about 40% of the total units are 3-bedders. The developer actually put a lot of emphasis on these 2-bedroom types. Of course, demand is one thing, as developer will definitely do their research as to what unit types are actually sought after by consumers, and they will also consider the number of supply for different bedroom types before deciding what is the unit mix that they actually want to go with for a project. Adding on to what I said previously, like developers, they will do their research and all. When you buy a property, we always want to know what is our exit strategy. So who are your potential buyers? On this slide, we can actually see the HDB resale prices for District 18 for units that actually TOP after year 2000. You can see that for the 3-bedder, the average price is actually 561,000. Of course, certain units, probably the newer ones, actually has transacted at 665,000. And then for the 4-bedder, you can see the average price is actually 742,000 transacted, as well as for the 5-bedder transacted average price 894,000. Of course, the maximum price also over here where you can see these are probably for the newer units. For Tampines, right, there are so many BTO in plans, and there are so many units that obtain their MOP every year. What does this mean? This actually means that these are your potential resale buyers next time if you buy a unit in Parktown. Looking at these prices, for a 3-room flat, if they sell at about 600,000, then they want to buy a 2-bedder in Parktown. Let's say a 2-bedder in Parktown starts from about maybe 1.4, for example. What's the down payment like? The down payment for 1.4 is about 400,000. For 400,000, you can actually see that if they sold their HDB 3-room, there's a very high chance that actually they can actually use that to down pay for a 2-bedder. Same thing for the 4-bedder, average price about 700 over 1,000. If let's say they want to buy a 2-bedder or a 3-bedroom compact, actually after selling their HDB, right, there's a high chance that they can actually down pay for a unit in Parktown based on their comfort level and their preference. Same thing for the 5-room flat. These owners, right, they can potentially be your exit strategy. They can be looking at the 2-bedder, 3-bedders, or even the 4-bedders of Parktown. So actually, I want to touch on this is that why developer actually build more units for the 2 and 3-bedders, because there will be demand in the future. Today, I mentioned that I will be predicting the prices, right? How do we do that? We compare another integrated project, which is Sengkang Grand, to compare, and then in a way we can also have a gauge and predict what will be the starting prices for Parktown. Sengkang Grand actually launched in 2019 November. Back then, during the launch, their average pricing for PSF is actually about 1,006, 1,007, and some units are going at 1,008. So another project that I will use to compare will be La Fiesta, also in Sengkang, also D19. At the point of launch of Sengkang Grand, La Fiesta resale prices, they were going at about 1,002 to some units at 1,004 for the smaller bedroom. The difference between these two projects, resale and new launch, is about 400 to 500 PSF. In this way, we can actually predict what is the price going to be like for Parktown. For Tampines, the latest project that just TOP would be Treasure at Tampines. We will use that for comparison to compare and predict the prices for Parktown. If you can see, the current resale prices for Treasures is actually around 1,006 to 1,008 currently. If we use the same difference in the prices from the previous comparison, could Parktown launch at 2,002 for the smaller bedroom type and 2,000 for the larger bedroom type? I think it is possible. Okay, very highly possible, right? So here I've actually done up a possible price matrix for the different unit types in Parktown. In a way, you can also see what are the prices that I feel that you can possibly consider other options in the market when it reaches that price. Let's say you are on booking day and then you want to buy certain units, then you can actually use this and you can actually see maybe what are the prices that I feel are a bit high. For the smaller bedroom type, I think there's a good chance that it starts from 2002. And for the bigger 2-bedroom, I think there's a chance that it could start from 2,150. You must know that these prices are actually the starting from prices. Of course, when there is better facing and of course there's a level, there will be increment in the pricing. These are my predicted starting from prices. For example, we look at the 2-bedroom premium, right? If it reaches 2,500 PSF, then it's almost at 1.7 million already. You must think in the future, how much do you want to sell? 1.9 million for a 2-bedroom in Tampines, I feel it's a bit high lah. That's why I actually done up these price metrics. In a way, we can also see like roughly what are the prices that maybe we have to take a step back and compare what are the other options in the market in terms of other projects. In this video, I will be comparing the different layout for each bedroom type, and then we will go into the price prediction for the different levels. Here you can see the Parktown site plan. For this project, they have a lot of different layouts, but most of the layouts are quite similar. I believe that the premium will be more on the facing and not so much on the layout. For this site plan, I have categorized the facing into 3 ranking. We have rank number 1, which is the inwards facing that has the furthest distance block to block, and then rank number 2 is inwards facing as well, but slightly nearer to each other block to block. And then of course, lastly, we have the 3rd rank, which is facing outside of the project. If you look at the master plan over here, you can see that actually this project is all surrounded by residential. For the residential, mostly are actually HDB. Some plots are actually not developed yet. If you do choose an outwards facing, future construction may affect you. And I feel for this project, the inwards facing would be the more premium one, and you get perpetual pool view, you get perpetual far distance from the next block. Using another UOL project, which is Trevor, I have split the facing into 3 ranking, same as Parktown. We have our inner facing, which is the rank number 1. The rank number 2 facing is actually facing outwards a reserve site, and then for number 3 facing is actually facing the road, which is Potong Pasir Avenue 1. This is actually quite similar to Parktown in a way. We will use this ranking to predict the prices for Parktown as well. But what I want to say is that this is just a generic ranking. In each rank, there's also units with better facing. Going back to the Parktown site plan, you can see that even for rank number 1, this is actually west facing. Definitely for those units that avoid the afternoon sun, at rank number 1 with the same setback will definitely have an advantage over those that will get the west sun. Sun units over here will actually get the west sun. That's why I feel that there is also a price difference within the ranking as well, because there are so many stacks, right, and I can't cover all in this video. So if you have any particular stack or unit that you are interested in, but you're unsure how to calculate the premium or the price, you can let me know and I actually can analyze for you. Going back to Trevor, at the launch of the showflat, there is actually around a 2% difference in the pricing for the different facing. For rank number 1, stack 9 is actually 1612 square feet. At rank number 2, which is stack 33, same floor, is 1582. And then for the outwards facing, which is stack 11, is actually 1559. There's actually about $30 difference in the PSF, which is around 2%. For Parktown, we will be using this to compare the different facing as well. But like I mentioned earlier on, within a ranking, there are also different units that are better facing than the others. So in a way, other than this 2% difference in the different ranking, there could be also more price difference for the different facing within each ranking. Now we go into the layout comparison for the 1-bedroom plus study. For this project, there are actually 4 different layouts for the 1 plus study, but 3 of them are actually the 463 square feet units. For these 463 square feet units, right, they are actually on the lowest level, which is level 2 of certain stacks. Now we will go into the comparison. Now we will be going into the 1-bedroom plus study layout comparison. For the 1-bedroom plus study, they actually only have 2 sizes, which are 463 square feet and 506 square feet. It looks like they have 4 different layouts, but actually the layouts are quite similar. For this 1 plus study 463 square feet unit, right, is actually on the lowest level of a few different stacks. So total they have only 12 units of this 463 square feet, because it's on the level 2. For this 463 square feet, my top choice would be AS4, because AS4 actually has a shorter walkway over here. When you have a shorter walkway, your house will actually feel and look bigger, and the shorter walkway space actually will go to the living room as well. And this one is actually at stack 110, which is over here. For this stack, it's actually the inwards facing, but because it's a low floor, right, you won't get the afternoon sun because it will be blocked by the other block. If you like this 463 square feet unit, you can actually choose this AS4, but there's only one unit. For the 506 square feet unit, we only have one type of layout, which is AS1. Pretty straightforward. I would say that if you want to get the 506 square feet unit, we will choose more by facing because the layout are all the same. Stack 60, low to mid floor, to avoid the west sun, will be my choice for own stay. This is stack 60, right? So if you are buying for own stay, you can actually choose stack 60 because the west is here, right? If you go for low to mid floor, it's actually blocked by this block over here. But of course, if you're an investor, you want to make sure that your rental yield is the highest. I would actually recommend these two stacks facing outwards, because these two stacks, majority will be north-south facing. You don't get any morning or afternoon sun. Okay, and outwards facing likely to be the more affordable ones. If you're buying for investment, to start your investment journey, to build your asset, I think you can actually consider these two stacks, which is 87 and 88. For the one bedroom plus study, we will be using Trevor for comparison as well. For Trevor, you can see from here, during the launch of Trevor, the price difference for per floor jump is 4,000, right, for the one bedroom. For 4,000, I feel it's a bit low in today's market. I will use 5K per floor jump for Parktown instead. Assuming that the 1 plus study, the smaller 463 units, right, they start from 2003. These are the possible prices that developer could launch at. And for the bigger 1 plus study, which is the 506 square feet, if they launch at 2002, it could start from 1.13 M onwards, and if you add a 5,000 per floor jump, these are the prices for the different levels. Of course, if you are choosing a unit in a more premium facing, these are actually the starting prices for the outwards facing, or in a way, just now we ranked it into 3 facing, right? If you are interested to get a unit in a more premium facing, for example, rank 1, you can actually add the 2% plus 2% to the price, then you can actually gauge what will be the starting price for the unit that you are keen on. But as I mentioned earlier, within each rank, there's also a more favorable facing as well. For that, you may have to add a bit more to the price difference. For this 1 plus study, I feel that anything above 1.3 million is a bit high. You can probably consider other options in the market and compare. How I determine this is not that I just give a number and then I tell you, oh, it's high. What I compare is what are the other options in the market. For example, if at 1.3 plus million, I can get a 1-bedder in CCR. Would you buy the 1-bedder in CCR, or would you buy Parktown? The figures, when I say, oh, it's a bit high, I actually use other options in the market, see what are the other options in the market for that bedroom type, and compare it with Parktown. Whether it makes more sense to buy into Parktown, or whether it makes more sense to consider other options in the market at that price point. For the 2-bedroom premium 721 square feet, it's the traditional layout, which means that there is actually a walkway corridor over here, and then your foyer is long as well. For this layout, I feel that the usable space is lesser, and for the difference in the 40 square feet, it actually goes to these 2 areas that I have actually circled out. I feel that 6, 7, 8 square feet dumbbell layout is more efficient in this case. My top choice will be the BP2. For the stack wise, I would consider stack 12 and 13, 33 and 32. For the 2-bedroom premium, again, the layout is almost the same except for the RC ledge. I believe that the chances of your future buyer buying for own stay is quite high. I would choose a better facing, which is stack 14 and 34, right? If you are worried that the RC ledge will make your bedroom look a bit darker, then you can also consider the BPS1 stack 30 and 31. For the 2-bedroom price prediction, these are the prices for assuming that the prices for the 2-bedroom starts from 2002 for the smaller units and 2150 for the bigger 2-bedroom, right? Based on 6K per floor jump, these are actually the predicted prices. Again, these are just the starting prices for each size. The facing of the unit will actually affect the price. If the unit that you're looking at is premium facing, you can actually again add the 2% to the unit price to gauge. For 2-bedroom, I would say that for units above 1.4 million, at this quantum, there may be other options in the market that can use to compare and consider. Because for 2-bedroom premium, right, at 1.6 million, anything above, I think you can really see whether there are other options in the market as well to compare before committing. Why do I say this is because you need to think of how much you want to sell in the resale market. If you are buying in and holding until TOP, which is in this case about 5 years, for a resale buyer, how likely are they willing to pay 1.8 million for a 2-bedroom in Tampines? For the 2-bedroom premium, which is a 764 square feet unit, I feel you still can convert it to a 3-bedroom compact if you really want. This one, I feel the price that you can consider would be maybe 1.75 and below. For the 3-bedroom comparison, my top choice would be the 936 square feet unit, which is this layout. So of course I will be choosing the inwards facing because your buyers could potentially be buying for own stay. I think facing wise, choosing an inwards facing would be better when you want to sell in the future. The reason why I choose this layout is also because for the 926 square feet unit, you actually don't have any windows in the kitchen. Your kitchen will actually be quite dark if you don't have any windows, and even though it's a dumbbell layout, this bedroom cannot be converted to a junior master as well. I feel there's not much advantage for this layout. In this case, I will still choose the 936 square feet unit, which is C2. For the 947, I feel that most of the 11 square feet actually went to the foyer over here. I feel that if possible, 936 would be better because if you pay for that 11 square feet more, most of the space actually goes to the foyer. Not so much of very efficient usable space. The 3-bedroom, we will be using Trevor again. During launch day, the Trevor per floor jump for the 3-bedroom, sorry, there's a typo over here, is actually 3-bedroom. Yeah, for Trevor, the 3-bedroom is actually 8K per floor jump during the launch day. We will be using the same per floor jump for Parktown. Assuming the prices for Parktown for the 3-bedroom starts from 2,100 PSF, based on 8K per floor jump, these are actually the predicted prices. You can actually use this. If you want a more premium facing, you add the 2% premium to it. If you don't know how to count, again, you can ask me, can count for you and analyze. 3-bedroom premium, they have a lot of different layouts, but actually the layouts are all quite similar. So again, we will choose by the facing. For this one, there's very high chance that your future buyer is actually buying for own stay, not so much of investment. We have to choose a facing that is more sought after for an owner buying for own stay, right? For this case, you can actually consider CP5. This one will be the inwards facing over here. This is stack 58. If not, you can also consider CP7, stack 76 and 29. Right, these two, you do get morning sun, but it's okay. Morning sun, you can dry clothes faster. But for this CP7, I think the highest price will be stack 76 over here because it's almost unblocked. The distance to the next block is actually quite far. For this 3-bedroom premium, we will be using 10K per floor jump because for Trevor, there's actually a gap between the 3-bedroom to 4-bedroom. The 4-bedroom is actually 12K, and then the smaller 3-bedroom is 8K. The bigger 3-bedroom for Trevor is at 10K per floor jump. We will follow that as well, and these are actually the predicted possible prices for the 3-bedroom premium. For 3-bedroom premium, the price that I feel you can still consider would be anything below 2.4 million. For the 3-bedroom premium, my top choice would be CPS3 because of the facing. They have two stacks, one stack over here and one stack over here. So for stack 71 is my top choice, and then you can consider stack 49 low to mid floor as well over here. Okay. For the 3-bedroom premium, assuming that prices starts from 2050 square feet, these are the projected prices. For this 3-bedroom premium, I feel that anything below 2.6 million is still considered okay. At 2.6 is about 2,300 PSF, which I consider still relatively acceptable for today's market, considering that for RCR is already selling at 3,000. For the 4-bedroom, we have 4 different layouts. My top choice would be D4 because of the facing. Actually, they have 4 different layouts, but all the layouts are actually quite similar in a way, except for the foyer area. For this 4-bedroom, I would say my top choice is actually D4. D4 is actually stack 21. The reason why I didn't choose stack 85 is because stack 85 actually will get a bit of the west sun, and it's actually next to a tennis court over here. In a way, tennis court means that there could be noises, and if you are someone who likes quiet, it would be better if you choose the stack 21, because stack 21 is actually facing the pool. At night it will be quieter than tennis court, because tennis court usually the residents can use until lights out. Yeah, so that's why my top choice is D4 stack 21. For bedroom, we will use from 2,000 onwards the PSF to predict. For prices starting from 2,000 PSF, these are the starting prices. Can start from 2.67 million, and then for the per floor jump, we will use same as Trevor. For Trevor, the per floor jump is 12,000. For that, you can actually gauge what would be the prices for the 4-bedroom. And for 4-bedroom, right, I think the price that I will be comfortable to pay would be anything below 2.9 million. For anything above 2.9 million, there are also other options in the market that you can consider at this pricing. For the 4-bedroom premium, there are 2 different layouts. The difference is actually also at the foyer area. For this project, I think a lot of the layouts are similar. How we choose is actually more by the facing. And for this case, the DP1 will be my top choice. Stack 55 will be my top choice because for this unit, it actually has the furthest distance to the next block. Your future potential buyers are mostly buying for own stay, right? Definitely they will want a facing that is good. And for this case, this is the best facing in my opinion. You get the furthest distance to the next block. And for the 4-bedroom premium, we assume that it will start from $2,000 per square foot, and we will use 14,000 per floor jump for Parktown, because just now, if you remember, for the 3-bedroom and 3-bedroom premium, the 3-bedroom is actually 8K, but for 3-bedroom premium, we actually added 2K to it for per floor jump. For the 4-bedroom, I would feel that anything that is below 3.2 million, you can still consider. Anything above that, I feel is a bit high. Okay. Lastly, we have the 5-bedroom layout. For the 5-bedroom, there's only one layout and there's only 2 facing. Again, my preferred facing would be stack 67 because it's the non-west facing, and the projected price for the 5-bedroom based on $2,000 per square foot is actually 3.358 million. For this case, we will use 16,000. We added another 2,000 to the per floor jump, and then you can actually see what are the prices for level 3 to level 12. For this 5-bedroom, I think the cut-off price for me is 3.6 million. At 3.6 million and above, there are actually other options that I can recommend to you. I'm not saying that above 3.6 million you can't buy, but you have actually the option to consider other projects in the market. And of course, when I talk about the prices, I feel that you can take a step back, consider other options in the market. Within these prices, each layout that is also a sweet spot pricing for each bedroom type. Not necessarily all the units you need to go high. Some facing mid-floor would be better than a high floor, and also we have to see the pricing, whether it makes sense to go high or to buy a lower floor. These are just my prediction for the starting prices and what could be the potential per floor jump. Each unit, each stack also has its own characteristics. We have to also analyze based on what unit type you want to get, and ultimately what is your investment goal, or if you are buying for own stay, what would be the best for you when you want to sell. So lastly, we talk about investment. I just want to touch on the rental as well. So we use comparison of Sengkang Grand and La Fiesta. For Sengkang Grand, we take the median prices for Sengkang Grand, 1-bedder, 2-bedder and 3-bedders, and we see what is actually the price difference compared to a normal development, which is La Fiesta. You can see over here, this is actually the numbers, but we will round it up to 10% for the integrated project because current market, it could be higher. We use Treasure for comparison, but what I want to point out is that for Treasure, it's a mega project with 2,000 over units. Upon TOP, there are a lot of the owners for the small bedroom types, they actually are willing to rent out at a cheaper rate. That's why you see the median prices for Treasure is actually a bit lower than the median rental prices for other projects in Tampines such as Santorini, Alps Residences or even Tapestry. For this case, I'll use Treasure because it's the newest development in Tampines. For the 1-bedroom, the median price is 2,760. If we take 1.1%, which is a 10% premium on the rental, it will be 3,036. For 2-bedroom, 10%, it will be 3,658 for Parktown. And then for 3-bedroom, on a 10% premium is 4,773. 4-bedroom 6,390 and 5-bedroom 7,884. This figure is just based on the median rental. We also have to see what's the highest transacted and what is the lowest transacted. If you are buying into better facing, definitely there will be some difference in the rental that you get. For 1-bedroom, I would say that likely chances of you renting out above 3,000 is actually quite high. And for 2-bedroom, for the bigger unit types, it can actually go above 4,000. If you are buying in for investment, the rental yield is about 3% based on the current median prices. Like I mentioned earlier, it could be higher, which I think it would be higher because looking at these numbers is actually quite low, especially for the smaller bedroom type. If you are buying for investment, you can actually expect around 3% and above for the rental yield. This is just my price prediction and my opinion on what prices you can consider when you are looking at units for Parktown. If you have any questions or if you're unsure about anything, you can actually drop me a message and I can actually advise you from there. And if there's any unit that you are looking at, you can let me know. I can analyze for you, gauge the prices, and also see which unit is the most suitable based on your requirements and your needs. That's all for today. Thank you.